So let's begin. My name is XenApp. I'm from AMD. I'm French. Sorry for my accent. So I'm very happy to be with you today. I was in Rome last year. So during 1 year, a lot of stuff happened for AMD. So who was in Rome last year? Okay. Okay, so AMD. Who know AMD? Everybody? Okay. So we aren't a CPU company. We are building CPU, but we have other job. Other job is graphic. I'm part of the FirePro team. So FirePro team is a graphic professional. We are Tradeon and FirePro. Before it was called ATI company. We have a lot of different technology. So from last year, from Rome last year, we have announced a lot of stuff. First thing, who is playing? Who have a PS4 here? Okay.
They cannot afford it. Too expensive graphic chip, they said.
Oh. We are very proud to have win Sony PlayStation with an APU. APU is a chipset with inside the CPU and GPU in the same silicon dice. So it's very low consumption of power, but very powerful. So you are one of the happiest guys to have this kind of console, video console. But not worry, for those who like Xbox, we also win the Xbox One. So in fact we win all the consoles. So it was a good year for AMD, for the market, and that shows that AMD have a very good technology. Now, if we go to the professional market, we can see that AMD FirePro is used in most of the well-known software. Dassault, Autodesk, Mari, Blackmagic. And it's a key point for us that a lot of companies believe that FirePro will be a great asset for them to have this kind of technology, because this card will accelerate all the production of your computation. For example, in Maya Bullet, you will use the FirePro to do some special effect, to compute directly on the GPU and not anymore on the CPU. That's the same for example, the similar process systems. All the modelization of the plane, of the deformation of the card in the crash test will be computed directly on the GPU. A few months ago, we announced a new board, the W9100. It's a graphic card, the most powerful of the world. We have more than 2 teraflops of double precision for computation. In fact, it's 2.5 teraflops. We've got 5 teraflops on single precision. This card can manage up to 6 4K displays. With only one board, you can connect 6 4K displays. For this, you have also 16 gigabytes of frame buffer of memory. That's huge, but you need this to manage all this amount of data for computation and for display. And for this, you have 320 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth. So it was the first card of the next generation, and they will have some announcement in the few weeks in the following month. And for example, we are interested for virtualization. We are very interested by server application, and we will have this kind of board in a server version. That means with passive coding. And with only one display, but we will have the same characteristics, the same power of compute and of memory from buffer on the server side. Other card can do some computation directly on the graphic card. All this with OpenCL. So are you familiar with OpenCL or not? No? Okay. So OpenCL, you can put all your kernel, your program directly on the GPU and not anymore on the CPU. And all the computation will be run on the GPU. The advantage of this is that on the GPU you have a lot of core. For example, on the CPU you have 16 core. Here you will have more than 2,000 core. So for all the parallel compute, it will be more fast to do it on the GPU than on the CPU. So before, our competitor is using CUDA. CUDA is proprietary of NVIDIA. So AMD go to an open source, open standard, and this open standard is OpenCL. And as you can see, a lot of companies have choose this open standard. You can say VRED, Assosystem, Autodesk. Also, we have another good win. It's the new Mac Pro. In the new Mac Pro, you have two FirePro cards. And this computer is dedicated for 4K display and also OpenCL. So a lot of companies have chosen AMD hardware from AMD to have a very powerful computer like the Mac Pro, and also some components very good in power consumption, in price, like all the gaming console. Also, another win is the Moonshot from HP. It's a server, yes.
So you said there will be a server version of the W9100.
Yeah.
And S1000 is equivalent to which one? So I guess there is an equivalence to that, is it?
No, because the S10,000, S10K, the S10K has been, there's two versions of the S10K. One with active cooling, with a free fan, and another one with passive cooling. So the S10K is from the past generation of GPU, of chipset. For the next generation, there's no equivalent for the moment for the S10K. So the first board announced for the new generation is the W9100.
And the user, it will be faster than having a CPU sent from the S10,000, is it?
Sorry?
So if we take a user and he would use his application on a workstation with W9100, and we compare the same user who would be connected to the Xen server using the S10,000, which one is faster?
It will be the S 9100 because it's the next generation. But the 9100, after multi-implementation, you will use it for virtualization. You have different kind of virtualization. It depends if you are doing direct pass-through or GPU sharing. It depends. But the 9100 is the next generation. So, for example, in the past generation, you have two pipelines for graphics. So you can compute two triangles at the same time. With the next generation, you have four pipelines. So for CAD application, it's faster. So the moonshot is for density, very high density. So each part of this, in fact, it's a server, and you can plug all the server in this box. And what is new is now we have LPU technology. That means that here you will have hard drive, memory, CPU, like before, but also GPU, because the GPU is embedded in the APU, like in the console. So it will be very very good product if you want to have some workstation very intensified. So now, FirePro is more than workstation, more than hardware. So here we have the graphic card, and here we have the what we call Sky technology. Sky technology is a different software framework with the FirePro hardware will enable to have some VDI, DAS, application virtualization, remote graphic workstation. So some use cases. I believe that in virtualization there is no one solution. There is always different solutions. It depends of what you are doing, what is your job. I think we have also we have small workload, big workload, and small workload we can't ignore it. We need to deliver a cost efficiency solution, and for this we have different benefits. We can be security, lower downtime, flexibility, performance, manageability, disaster recovery. So I really believe that before going to graphic virtualization, you have to ask you two questions. Why and how? Why I need to virtualize? What is my goal? To save money, to be more secure, to work from anywhere, to save some money? It depends. When you have answer to this question, you can ask how I will do this, because you have several solutions. Here we have some example with XenApp. So XenApp, the goal for AMD is to deliver a cost-efficient GPU technology. We have different graphic cards. For AMD we have about 15 different graphic cards. It's not for to make beautiful. If we have 15 graphic cards, it's because we have 15 or more use cases where each graphic card can fit that case. And also, we want to ensure that the mainstream XenApp GPU need are met. So here, you will see here the FirePro card. Here it's a passive cooling, dedicated for server. This card can be GPU bare metal or pass-through on Xen server or VDGA on vSphere. It depends. It doesn't matter. With this card, you will have all these features, meaning you will have OpenGL 4.3, DirectX 11.1, and also access to OpenCL 1.2. Yes, Thomas?
I've seen multiple places that it's only OpenGL 4.2.
Sorry?
I've seen multiple places that it's only OpenGL 4.2.
OpenGL 4.3, it's with the new generation of board. Now we can go to OpenGL 4.3 and OpenCL 2.0. I'm not sure it's announced yet or available yet, but it will come in a few weeks.
So it's supplying?
Yes. For example, all the new boards are OpenCL 2.0 ready, but it's not the software layer is not available yet. So as soon as the software layer will be available, the hardware is ready for it. Sorry?
Can you share what's going to be created
I have not the data. I will take your question and send you an email. But as I told you before, before end of June, we will have a lot of new announcements, new board, new software layer. So you will find your answer very quickly. So the use cases. Here we have 3 different use cases. So as you can see, it can be to deliver some office application, to deliver some office application to mobility client with good performance in graphic point of view, or to be in PLM, or to be more in CAD software. The goal is that to bring the workstation as a service or workstation online, because before with standard virtualization you won't have any GPU performance, so you won't be able to do some, for example, Katia on your virtual machine. Now it's possible. So what is important and what AMD is doing right now, we are working with ISV. So we are working with ISV to have the certification, because without certification it's useless. For example, you can have your virtual environment working with Xen server, with Hyper-V or Linux. It no matter. For example, Katia can run very well, but if there's no certification, if it's not allowed by Dassault system, it's useless. So we are working with all this software company to have the certification for the virtualized platform, and it's very important at this point. We have additional platform. So, for example, VMware. So VMware, now we have vSGA. It's available now for vSphere 5.5. So what is vSGA? vSGA is virtual shared graphic don't remember the A, but it's virtual shared graphic. That means with one graphic card on the server, you can have several virtual machines accessing the graphic card. So there is some limitation on this. The limitation is the version of DirectX and OpenGL. So for the moment, it's DirectX 9 and OpenGL 2.1. But it's a first step. You can have also direct pass-through. So direct pass-through is different. Direct pass-through, the virtual machine will access, or the application will access directly to the graphic card. So in that case, it's one user per graphic card, but on the other hand, you have full OpenGL 4.3 and full DirectX 11.1, and also OpenCL if you need to do some compute. For Microsoft, it's different, because for Microsoft we don't have direct pass-through. We have share graphic card with remote FX, and this for several years now. So
will this ever change?
Sorry?
Will this ever change?
It depends of Microsoft. You know, Microsoft and OpenGL are not very friendly. So if you are using DirectX application, it's good. Remote FX is very good. You have now DirectX, I think it's 11, running on with server 2012. So you can run most of the application, DirectX application. Now, yes, now if you are OpenGL application, it's not a good solution.
No. And that will not change in the future, that you know of?
No.
Okay.
For now, I have no sound from Microsoft saying they will investigate on OpenGL. I hope so.
I cannot imagine. That's very good.
So, if you are DirectX application, it's a good solution. If you are OpenGL application, no, you have to change. So here is two graphic cards we have now actually. So it's the S9000 and the S7000. It's a passive version of the W9000 and W7000. So it's for server. the difference between the active, it's passive and active cooling, and also the output. You have only one output, but for server you don't need 6 output. So this one is the most powerful card we have, with 6 GB of memory. And this one is more for cost efficiency because you have only one slot GPU. So on server you can put several cards. I have one in Paris with 8 PCI Express slots, so you can put 8 cards like this. And as I tell you, in the few weeks, new card will come. Also we have this card. I spoke about this card last year. It's a very good one. So it's a R5000. It's a GPU with PC over IP hardware encoder inside. So as you can see, there is a RG45 plug here, and you have 2 mini display ports. So you can connect 2 screens here and a network cable there. And in other place, you have 0 client for example, the Dell one, and you can connect up to 4 monitors on the 0 client. And after you can do what you want. You can have clone mode, meaning you have the same monitor here and the same distance. You can have an infinity group, a group of 6 monitors. You can manage this as you want, and also a remote access to the computer. So I know companies who are using this. For example, a big company, French company in nuclear, we are using this kind of board to have some what they call green office. So the designer in their office, they don't have a big workstation, very noisy, that make a lot of heat. They have only a 0 client, and they are doing the arcade application, and all the workstation are centralized in the data center. So it's better for the guy who using the software, but also for managing the hardware. It's one central class. You don't have to run on each office to device, and for security also.
And what bandwidth do you need for that board? What bandwidth is supported on board?
So the chipset is designed to use in one. You don't need a big bandwidth. It's running better in LAN, but it one also because the compression will be adaptive. We will adapt the quality regarding the bandwidth you have.
But the port itself, is it 100 megabit? Is it 1 gigabit? Or
on the board, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think that I really that was not this gigabit port, but I'm also not sure. We can look at internet.
But I mean, potentially, would it use up to 1 gigabit? I mean, if we max out all the settings.
1 gigabit is huge. I don't think you need use this for one session.
Okay.
I think about PC over IP, I think you can only do 100.
Yeah.
About some kind of sessions, because the other cards can do some kind of session with fixed resolution.
Yeah. And I made some tests with, it was not with PC over IP, but it was with Citrix, with a lossless application, because it was a stereoscopic 3D. And so it was HD, stereoscopic, lossless, and I was using 50 megabytes of bandwidth. Yeah. So 100 I think is enough.
But it's normally when you code a movie with 1 megabyte second, you have actually nice picture. When you have 4 megabyte second, then you have actually very good picture.
Yeah.
That means you need not very much more than 4 megabyte per
PC
second.
over IP, it's a very smart protocol that it's send only when the link. So the key initiative for AMD, what we are working on. So first one is ESB certification. As I told you, it's very an important one. Without this, it's useless to have virtualization. So it's the first one. Then now we can have the GPU available on the virtual environment. We need some tool to monitor the usage of the GPU. More and more frame buffer, as you see, 16 GB for the new board, and it will be the same for the passive cooling version. It's because of shared graphic. We need a lot of frame buffer to have multiple virtual machines with good graphic performance. Enhanced API for remote protocol display access. So in Sky technology here, there is some API like Rapid Fire. I haven't any slide on Rapid Fire. I spoke about Rapid Fire last year. You can find on the website developer.amd.com some information of this API. This API is used for cloud gaming, and also we are working with VMware, with Citrix to have this technology implemented on the remoting protocol. So to remember Rapid Fire, what is it? With Rapid Fire you can grab the frame buffer on the graphic card, you can compress the frame buffer with VC, it's a chipset embedded on the graphic card, and then stream over the network with H.264 protocol. The new generation of board will be H.265 ready. That don't mean it's available, but it will be available soon with SDK in OpenCL.
And it does all the compression on the fly, basically, is it?
Yeah.
And what's the average compression rate?
You can compress up to 6 HD stream. So we have the same board called Sky, Radeon Sky. So it's board designed for cloud gaming. But the same chipset, and you can have 6 HD stream on one board.
But I mean the compression ratio in the sense that, say, traffic is 100 megabit to how little it compresses it.
It depends. I have no answer for this. It depends on the boundaries. With this rapid fire, you have some API to adapt the compression regarding the network.
So it does it automatically. Can you manually do it as well?
Yes, you have all the API. Because this API, again, it's the way AMD think all the API are open. That means it's not AMD hardware locked. This API can be used with NVIDIA, with Intel. It's working. It will be optimized and accelerated on AMD hardware, but it can work on other hardware. So you will have access to a very low level, and you can do a lot of
So what it means is that this H63 Pro will be supported with AMD. That is.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, we try to go that way. Yeah.
But this API is also for VMware and Microsoft.
This API is open to which company want to use it. So we are close with all the major companies like Citrix, like VMware, like Microsoft, and after it's a company deal to, it's not very easy, but we are talking with them in order to implement this technology in their remoting protocol. The goal at the end is to have really workstation as a service, to deliver the same performance of the workstation and not the computer, a really workstation with graphic capability on a virtualized environment. And for this, you need graphic capability and also good communication transport. Also, we are working on density multi-user per GPU. So, as you see, there is some announcement with VMware, with shared GPU, and we are working also with the other company like Citrix for this. I haven't spoke about Linux. Now with Linux, with the newest kernel, you have direct pass-through that is working, so you can have access to the GPU in a virtual machine with a KVM hypervisor on Linux. For Linux, that's it for Linux.
So, is that also what the Musa GPU is going to work with, the Linux?
I think for Linux it will take the time. It's with VMware and it will work soon with Citrix. For Linux we have model because it's different approach. It's a community. So we have no plan for Linux yet. So for Linux only direct pass-through. But first, when I said before virtualize graphic environment, you need to ask you why and how. And if your goal is to virtualize some heavy application like CAD application, you won't use shared GPU because you need a lot of graphic power. So direct pass-through will be the solution for you. Okay, so you can densify about 4 stations in a server. Maybe 8, but no more, because after you will have some bottleneck. It will be CPU, memory, and you will use 1 GPU per virtual machine. So before, ask you the right question before going to virtualize workstation. We have a new website, fireprographic.com. You will find a lot of information. So now in AMD we are working in a vertical job. So there is a vertical for all server and virtualized environment. So you will find a lot of resources. Also, you have my email here and the email of Nick Ponder. Nick Ponder, it's a guy from Teradici who joined AMD 6 months ago now. He will manage all the virtualization part of AMD. Do you have any question? It's clear?
I have a question. So the Musa GPU, how is that different compared to NVIDIA what they do with the vGPU? Because vGPU is fixed profile.
It's
fixed GPU profiles. So with the Musa GPU, will you then, is it intelligent?
Yeah. We will release a new board for as now. All what we did with multi-GPU, multi-user in 1 GPU, like Microsoft, like in Vesper, is software. We will have a new board, we will have some hardware virtualization inside the board. So we can dedicate some part of the graphic card to a virtual machine. So it will be more like NVIDIA do with this grid stuff. I'm not very specialized with NVIDIA, but I think that's
so that's where, if you take Citrix, then you have to, today you have to put that in the hardware device, and is that also, well, let me know if you cannot talk here about it, but is it on Citrix that go in and control the GPU size?
Actually,
or if it's all this intelligent stuff happening behind in your software, is it just doing pass-through and then it's going up and down with how much you need?
No. What we want to do or what we are doing now?
What we're doing now with the Musa GPU, because it's...
no, so now for multi-GPU, it's a software layer in the hypervisor, for example, remote FX, and after it will move some job from a virtual machine to the GPU, but there's no isolation. For example, you can crash all the server with this. After you will have some hardware isolation with a dedicated part of the GPU hardware dedicated to a virtual machine. That's not the case actually. On the AMD website, on the driver section, you have the driver, for example, for BlitzFair, to have the multi-GPU part, to have one GPU dedicated, not share to several virtual machines. It's available, but it's only a software layer, meaning there's no hardware installation. So the difference is you can crash, it's not isolated.
So, are you saying that multi-GPU you can crash host or what? This is new technology that's not available yet. I'm just trying to understand where you configure the profile of the GPU size to a virtual machine. Is a company like Citrix and Microsoft where you configure this, or is it done intelligently?
No, it's done. I would say it's done intelligent. You have no control. You have only a .vib, it's a driver. You put in the virtual machine and you have no control. You can't say I want this kind of part of the GPU, of the physical GPU for this virtual machine.
So it means one user could actually go in and take 80% of the GPU, and if you have 50 people sharing the GPU, that could be an impact.
Yeah. That's why we will release hardware. We will release hardware sharing GPU. That's the difference between software and hardware. One is isolated. You have a dedicated part, and you can't impact the other. And in the software way, you will impact the other. Yeah.